So it seems Arsenal have made their decision. We are replacing the legend Arsene Wenger after 22 seasons at Arsenal with Unai Emery, the ex-PSG coach. He has, of course, left. They've got Thomas Tuchel. I was a little bit disappointed by that. But I tell you what, the more I've thought about this, the more it actually excites me. Unai Emery is a fantastic manager. I'm going to go through a lot of his past achievements all the way up till this season. And I'm going to talk about the sort of players I'm expecting him to be bringing in, how he's going to run this club, the fact that he is quite young. It's going to be so nice to have youth, energy at the helm of this club again. And I'm actually very excited. I'm hoping to change a lot of the Arsenal fan opinions that this isn't a great appointment, that it's not ambitious enough. You need to look into the details before you come up to these conclusions. He is going to be great for Arsenal. I'm pretty certain of it. So let's start off the video with some of his greatest achievements so far in his career. So one of his first real achievements was getting Lorca Deportivo promoted to the second tier in Spanish football for the first time in their history. And that was very early on in his career. And then in 2007, when he was manager of Almeria, he got them promoted to La Liga, the first division in Spanish football, for the first time in their history, and then finished 8th in the following season. I mean, that's incredible. He then went on to manage Valencia and managed to get them into the top 3 of La Liga 3 years in a row between 2010, 2011 and 2012, competing with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. I mean, that is some achievement. He then made a massive decision, moved over to Sevilla, and that turned out to be a great decision. He went on to win 3 Europa Leagues in a row with Sevilla, the first one being in 2014. And actually that season he was voted UEFA Coach of the Year in Europe. And then, of course, he moved to PSG, where he has been very, very successful as well, including a record in the Champions League group stages for the most goals scored. Now, you could say he had an incredible squad with, probably some of the best firepower in Europe, but still, 25 goals against Bayern Munich, Anderlecht and Celtic in just the group stages. I mean, it's scary. And of course, in the same season, this season, he's won his first league title in charge of PSG, and he finished 13 points above Monaco. However, if you do include last season, not the one we've just finished, but the previous season where Monaco won the French league, had he won that, he would have got 8 out of 8 domestic titles with PSG. Just the one missing, which I'm sure is eating away at him. But 7 out of 8 domestic titles available to him in those 2 seasons with PSG, including 2 French Cups, 2 French League Cups, 2 French Super Cups, and just the 1 league title instead of 2. So when you put all of those things together, you've got yourself a very successful manager. But he's not even 50 yet. He's 46 years old. It's pretty spectacular what he's done in his career so far. 2 very early on achievements of taking clubs from lower league to top leagues when they haven't done it in their history. And then moving on to Valencia, keeping them in the top 3 for 3 years in a row. And then moving to Sevilla, winning 3 Europa Leagues in a row. Then going to PSG, arguably one of the toughest jobs in terms of pressure. They need to win the Champions League. He wasn't able to do it. However, in those 2 years he was at PSG, all the way up until this summer, 7 out of 8 domestic titles have been won with PSG. They have been good in Europe on most nights, just the odd occasion where Barcelona, for example, that piece of magic last year, and this year was a little bit disappointing for them. But the Champions League is the toughest competition, and Arsenal aren't even in it right now. So, yeah, let's just calm that down a little bit. I know people are worried that he hasn't been able to win the Champions League with PSG, but you've got to think of it, the big picture is that Real Madrid have been dominating. They really have been very strong in the Champions League, as have Barcelona, as have Juventus, Bayern Munich, in a very tough time for a lot of European clubs where there are just some absolute powerhouses. No matter how much money you spend, it doesn't always mean success. But we're talking just the Champions League here. Domestically, you could argue that the French league isn't the most competitive. It pretty much is just 3 or 4 teams that even have a remote chance of winning the league. He still dominated it. He has managed to Manage a team with some very big personalities. The whole situation with Neymar has been relatively under control. And let's be honest, Neymar moved to a completely different place in the world, and he hit the ground running. You could argue that's just how good Neymar is, but also I think it's down to the manager. He's able to work one-on-one with these players and get them working in his own system. And you can't deny it that Emery has been a very successful manager, very successful in such a short space of time. And I think that we've potentially got a manager for the next 10 years. Whether we want that or not, I don't know. It really depends how the first 2 or 3 seasons go. Now, what I'm really hoping for is I want it to be a minimum of 2 seasons. You cannot give a manager 6 to 12 months to do a job like this. This is one of the biggest transitions in world football. You saw it with Manchester United. It did not go well. Changing manager to David Moyes ultimately wasn't the best decision ever. Turns out that David Moyes isn't the special one. Okay, yes, understood. And they went from winning the league to struggling to get into the top 4. It's a different situation with Arsenal because we're already struggling a little bit. All we need is a bit of improvement. It's nowhere near as harsh as it was when Sir Alex left Manchester United. But Manchester United fired Moyes and they maybe could have given him a little bit more time. It probably wouldn't have worked out. But with Arsenal, it certainly can. We are not expecting to win the Premier League next season. All we want is a top 4 finish and consistent results. That's all we're looking for. And I'm pretty sure with the talent we've got at the squad, in the squad already, at the club, the staff we've got, with him coming in, with his partnership with Mislintat, we can bring in some great players this summer. Apparently our budget isn't massive, but we've got a few players that we can sell. I think we can work wonders with this team. I really, really hope that Emery is the missing piece. I'm very excited about this. I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans thinking that this is not a good appointment. But when you look at the stats, when you look at what this guy has done, it's pretty impressive. And he is only 46. He's only 10 years older than our oldest player. Okay, when you put it that way, that makes you think, hang on, this is pretty good actually. We're getting a manager that's younger than most Premier League managers that are successful at this point in time. And he's done so much for European football in terms of the Europa League, which is where we're going to be next season. He's won it 3 times in a row with Sevilla. There's no doubt in my mind that that Sevilla team was obviously a great team. It was a powerhouse, beating Liverpool, Benfica, whoever it was in the final. But Arsenal have, I would say, at least equal or better in terms of squad. I think we've got a massive chance to win the Europa League with this guy, and that would get us into the Champions League. So that would be my target for next year. Top 4 in the Premier League and win the Europa League. Now, in terms of players that he could be bringing in with him, he's obviously linked with many PSG signings now. Draxler, Rabiot, even Trapp, the goalkeeper, has been linked. I'm not so sure how much money we're going to have. There are figures being thrown around. It's a rumour that we're only going to have 50 million, which, if that's the case, then we're screwed. Because you cannot buy more than one world-class player for 50 million. I mean, even that's low, okay? If you want to buy a proper world-class defender, for example, which we absolutely need to do, and a CDM and a goalkeeper, we're looking minimum 60 to 70 million pounds. So 50 million won't cut it. So I'm going to ignore that for now. If that's the case, then he's really going to struggle because I think we need massive investment. We really do. But I would love Draxler to join, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we need an attacking player as much as we need defensive players. He's been linked with signing Nzonzi, turning 30 this year. Is that going to be a good signing for us? Short term, yes, I think so. But long term, no. We should be investing in a 25, 26-year-old entering into the prime of their lives, giving them 4-year contracts, and helping them adjust quickly into this formation system, whatever we're going to be playing, and help us defensively. Bringing in a centre-back. I would love him to say, oh, Kimpembe, let's bring him in. Because he's a young talent, he's already brilliant. That's just not going to happen. Thiago Silva, bring him along with you. That's not going to happen. Marquinhos, that's not going to happen. I want to see Boateng from Bayern. That would be a fantastic signing. Sokratis from Dortmund. Apparently that's a deal that's almost over the line for 18 million euros. That would be, I think, a very good short-term investment as well. The young Turkish player who's playing for Freiburg has had an outstanding season. Suyuncu or something like that. bring him in as a younger player, replaces Holding and Chambers, who are simply not good enough. You can tell I'm really upbeat and a bit passionate about this stuff. I think it's a huge point in the history of this club. And I really feel like this is the chance to do things right. We need 4 or 5 signings, preferably 3 world-class signings, a centre-back, a goalkeeper, a CDM, and then 2 squad players. That's all I want from this. And I think Emery can do it. We've got Mislintat. I think they will combine forces and we will do really well in the window. I really hope so. We need to tie Jack Wilshere down. We need to tie Aaron Ramsey down. And we're good to go. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the video here, guys. There will be more FIFA 11 career mode coming up soon on the channel. And more Operation Arsenal and football videos. So make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you next time.